gentlemen, children of all ages, boys and girls, welcome back to the No Bangers Sports Card Podcast. This is episode number 11. I am joined by the illustrious co-host, Mr. Rod from Picking and Punching, Cary from American Arbitrage Cards, and your boy, Tim from Over the Years Sports. Welcome back.
Wow, that was like a Barnum and Bailey's combined with like the Monopoly Man. Like that was like creepy.
It was unhinged.
I don't know if I should buy snake oil from you or what right now. Like,
Hey,
I got a couple of PSA 8s I can sell you.
yeah.
No problem.
Huddle up.
oh, funny guy there, buddy. All right, shots fired already. We're here literally. Well, for those that don't know, we've been away for the last 2 weeks. That's why we had 2 guests. So this is nice for us to get back here. We are back. How do you guys feel, man? I mean, it's been away. I know Tim always says from week to week, oh, it feels like 17 years since we did one. So this one's got to feel like hundreds of centuries.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, my whole concept of time has gone out the window. I did have my baby boy. He's a big boy. So he came out 8 pounds, 15 ounces. He's now, last Wednesday, he was weighed in at 9 pounds, 7 ounces. So,
Wow.
So yeah, he's a big boy. We're super excited. It's big shout out to my wife Josie. She's been an absolute rock star through this entire process. But yeah, it's tough. You know, I'm tired. I'm like trying to get up and get things done because I still have to work. Obviously, yesterday I dropped a package off at the post office without a label, and it came all the way back to DC and realized, and had to go all the way back to Maryland to the post office, dig through the packages, find it, and slap the label on it. So yeah. There's some lack of sleep issues, but I have been able to make it to a couple of card shows, which has been great. Once again, shout out to my wife for holding down the fort and allowing me to continue to work. Because you guys know how it is with the cards; you sell them faster than you can buy them at times. So, but yeah, it's been a blessing, and big shout out to everybody who's reached out and sent awesome messages. I've got some awesome care packages. Let me tell. This is the one thing that's funny. Is that nobody asks you, the husband, how you're doing. It's all everybody wants to know how Josie's doing. So she's been getting all types of really cool stuff sent in with like cards that I've bought, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna my wife's gonna send your wife some things. So it's been been pretty cool. That's awesome, I'm very appreciative of everybody in the community.
So did you get her a pushing present? Because I guess that's the thing you did.
Yes, it is definitely a thing. Yeah. So we are big sushi people, and for those of you that don't know, you can't eat sushi during pregnancy. Yeah. And there's a sushi restaurant that's like by my mom's house. It's like a very small sushi restaurant. This guy's been rolling sushi for like 40, 50 years, right? And it's where Josie and I went on our first date, and we love it. Nice. And so I arranged to have my sister bring like a massive amount of sushi to the hospital for Josie.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
So it was pretty cool.
I feel like someone needs to get you a pushing present because you're there for moral support. They should get you some type of blaster box.
Like maybe, I don't know, like boxes. Hobby box of big league baseball, something.
It's like literally physical support. Like I didn't know that I was going to be a part of that, but the nurse looked at me and she's like, "Yeah, grab that leg," and I'm like,
"Well, I can understand. I mean, you technically only put in 30 seconds to get to this point anyway." So,
oh gosh, you were being nice there. 30 seconds. Wow.
And what about you, Cary? I mean, so those that know
what about me? No babies.
I wasn't talking about your 30 seconds, all right? I meant me. So for those that know, me and Cary actually flew out to Vegas. We spoke at a reselling convention, and then we actually hit up some card shops. Well, I flew, you drove, and then while you were driving across America, crazy. More like stupid, but crazy, stupid. You can kind of just swap those two terms out there. But
we've done it a few times.
Yeah, I know you've done it great. But along the way, you make it worth your while because you hit up car shops across America. So tell us a little bit about your trip, man. How was it? How were the car shops? Because I know you take a different route going because you went from Florida to Vegas, Vegas to Utah, and then you took a different route home, so you hit different shops.
First off, Tim, I'm so happy for you, man. Congrats. I'm sure I've told you several times.
I'm happy for you too, Tim. Okay.
I'm more happy than Rod is for you, just for the record.
I'm the most happy, just saying.
No, but so yeah, we went southern route out there. So I'm in Palm Coast area of Florida. So we went through, Mobile, Alabama, Dallas, Texas, through Albuquerque to Vegas, and then we went up to Utah because I'm from Utah, and we came back. So it was a wild trip. So one thing I've figured out the last couple years of doing, I've done what I call picking across America for thrift stores and flea markets and all that kinds of stuff. But I started adding in card shops when I started my channel. So I'm starting to get to know card shops all over the U.S. It's really weird. Like I went to Art of Sports in Kansas City for the second time in like 8 months. Went to Capital City Sports Cards in Lincoln, Nebraska for like the second time in recent history. So I'm starting to like get to know these card shops that are nowhere near where I live. Knowing the owners, knowing kind of how their bargain boxes work, and it's been awesome. But it was an interesting trip. We had in Bowie, Texas, our tire blew. That was interesting. But thankfully,
that was before you were supposed to meet me in Vegas. So
yeah.
Everyone at the convention was like, "Where's Cary at?" I'm like, he broke down in Texas. We hope he's here. Don't worry. If not, I'm speaking by myself.
Yeah, exactly. So we got there, and in classic Cary fashion, Rod prepared a speech for us, and I just winged it. So I literally did.
Did you guys do the PowerPoint presentation?
No, we didn't do a PowerPoint presentation.
You guys went gangster.
I reached out to him. I was like, I spoke at all these other conventions, and even the one that you guys were at, and I didn't do a PowerPoint. Do I have to have a PowerPoint? Because I want to do it completely different. Because we were literally, it was day 2. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We were the very last speaker on the last day. So, at that point in time, we're speaking like mid-afternoon, like 3:45. Everyone's going to be there. They're tired, and I was like, I don't want to do a PowerPoint presentation. Everyone be forced to do a PowerPoint presentation. And I was like, I'm going to, and they do like a Q&A after. I said, listen, let's not do the Q&A. Let's just do the Q&A as we speak. And we're going to walk up and down the thing. And
it was good.
We told them, interrupt us. Just interrupt us in the presentation. You had a question, you had something to comment on. So it's completely different. But I think it was the best thing for engagement because it kept everyone engaged. We walked up and down. We answered questions, in the middle. And then kind of like we do the same thing as I sent them an outline of what to cover. And we just kind of, how we bounce off each other here. So it was very easy.
We've done podcasts process. Forever. We've both been on stage. I mean, you were a famously failed wrestler, Rod. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm a failed actor,
being gracious. So.
No, but we're in all joking aside, like we're both comfortable in front of crowds. That's one thing. I'm born with a malady of different anxieties, but there is no anxiety of being in front of people talking or doing this. Like I just don't. Yeah, I'm not nervous about it, and I just am myself. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But yeah, it went well. People had good feedback, mostly for you because you really were the star. You talked 90% of it, and then I would just pop in. I would just wait for a moment, and I'd pop in, and I'd be like, give a little story, and then Rod would get back on track.
So how many free shipping questions did you guys get?
No
None,
free shipping. No.
We did the anatomy of a yard sale.
But we talked about how to find good yard sales and how to do it. And it's really just kind of thinking outside the box, and we kind of went through the whole. Just there's a lot of things that people don't typically do. They stay within a 10 to 20 mile radius. And, I told them to change their mile radius to 100 miles. You're willing to, because I'm willing to drive an extra 45 minutes for $1,000, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't? So why are they restricting yourself to search
for
if they
don't, I told them if, I hold out my YouTube and if they don't give me the price I want, I say, do you know who I am? And then I point to my YouTube. It's never worked. It's never worked once, but I like to do it.
It's interesting because I think that whole concept anatomy of a yard sale is super productive for like the anatomy of a card show or a card shop because I feel like that's one of the comments or questions that I see a lot, not just on my personal YouTube channel, but here on No Bangers is like, oh man, there's no card shows near me, right? Yep. And I think that it is difficult at times because you, most of the time you just see people who are like promoting like the bigger shows, right? But I think once you find like one or two like smaller shows, like a lot of times they have like flyers for upcoming shows and stuff like that, and then like once you like start working those sort of angles, I think there's more card shows around you than you probably realize it. Some of them are going to be small shows. Like I went to a show on Saturday that was probably like 15 tables. It was a comic book show though, wasn't it? Like a comic book that was
show?
Sunday. On Saturday, Saturday I went to a card show that was like 15 tables. And then Sunday I went to another card show that was like half comic book, half cards. And so but those even those small shows, like all it takes is 1 or 2 tables to really make it worth your while.
That's really true.
So my biggest takeaway I would tell you from this, or the biggest tip I gave to people was, I asked everyone, why do you guys go sourcing? You know, a garage, like, oh, we can get new product, we get the best deals, stuff. This, I was like, I'm going to change your whole mindset. I use garage sales as a lead generating source. So I use garage sales to get me in front of people to talk to them. And then I let people know that I pay money for referrals. I give them a list of what I'm looking for. And I will tell you, people say I never find sports cards at garage sales. I never find sports cards at garage sales. I find the only reason I find sports cards when I go out and about is when I go to garage sales, I ask for them, and either I get the contact information or they know someone who has a set they want to get rid of. Like this, I went to a community sale on Saturday, and literally it was literally some guy standing there with his kids. They had like they had like a little kiddie swimming pool filled with toys, like no indication at all of the sports cards. I asked for sports cards, and goes, oh, what do you want? And then when someone's like in the cards or not in the cards, he's like, oh, you like graded, non-graded? I was like, well, I like both. And then so when he said that, I was like, okay. I was like, what kind of level collector is this? I'm like, oh, do you get a lot of stuff graded? He's like, oh yeah. He goes, I send him monthly things. I'm like, okay, now this guy I got a serious conversation with. But he eventually let me in his house and we went through some of his stuff. But he showed me he's sending cards to KK's over here over in St. Pete. He's sending off his cards to get graded, and he's sending batches per month. So I knew he didn't care about the low dollar stuff. I was like, hey, do you have any autographs or any patch cards or low number cards? He's like, oh, I have a whole box of them. Why, you interested in that stuff? I'm like, yeah, I sell them whatnot. I sell them debit cards. These are perfect for my shows. And literally he sold me, I think, everything like $1 a card or something, or even cheaper than $1 a card. But dude, I got like cool stuff. Like, by the way, this is weird, but check this card out. I got this from this guy, right? It's called a hash marks card. It has artificial turf on there.
Oh, that's cool, man.
That's cool. But here's the weird thing.
Is it numbered?
No. Who's on the cover there? Who's that quarterback?
Steve Young.
Steve Young, okay. This is from Three Rivers Stadium. That's where the Steelers play. So apparently it's from a game but it was like, why did they put that on a Steelers card? Why did they put that on a...
Does it say like it was from a game that he played at Three Rivers?
Turf, yeah, from Three Rivers.
I love that, man. I bought some...
I guess when the Steelers played the 49ers. But I just thought it was weird that they put they use his home field.
I think we're gonna get back to that a little bit more. I feel like Topps is doing more game used stuff, more and more game used stuff. One good thing that Topps is doing, I was looking at some old cards I picked up on the trip. I picked up a couple game used cards, a Dirk Nowitzki duel and a Chris Paul duel jersey card. And the cool thing about the Nowitzki is not only did it say it was game used, it told you what game it was from.
Oh,
it's like this is from the 2007 All-Star game. It didn't tell me if it was a shooting shirt, shorts, or jersey, but it was a piece that he wore. And I'm like, if we had more, and they're doing a little bit of that, obviously with the debut patch and other things that Topps is doing. But I feel like we could have a renaissance if they choose to for game use, because I think people are clamoring for real game use stuff. And they're getting tired of, the random pieces of napkins from TGI Friday that they're putting on cards.
I think Panini's the one that kind of started that, wasn't that? Was that Panini?
Well, I think they kind of
doubled down on it. They're the ones who
doubled down on it. They weren't always like that. I mean, well, Panini's been doing football cards since 2012. So I feel like they're the ones that popularized it.
Yeah.
Because before that, Donruss, Leaf, they were still doing cards, and their stuff was game used. Topps was still doing game used. I think the only time they got away from game used was if it was a rookie, and then they'd make it Mark Ingram put on 50,000 jerseys or whatever, so it was player worn. But at least, I felt like that was reasonable considering they hadn't played in the NFL yet. So
I'll tell you one cool thing, Tim. When we were in Vegas, Cary took me to his old stomping grounds, and we went to. I hit up awesome first, or I went by myself. Cary broke down, so the first day I went by myself to Awesome Card Shop. I walked in there, and Rolly Fingers was literally sitting there buying cards, like. I didn't realize at first because his back. Yeah, there you go. His back was turned to me, but then I realized who he was. Then after that, so that was super cool. And then
Raleigh's a big friend of Marcel, the owner there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then the next day, Cary picked me up, and he drove me to 3 separate card shops. And let me tell you, this guy used to. How long did you live in Vegas for?
2.5 years.
And he missed. I'm not even joking when I say this. About 27 exits. Every car
I shouldn't be driving. Don usually drives. Don't let me drive anywhere. That was your mistake. You should have drove my car.
I should have drove your car. I guess that is my fault.
Yeah.
First off, he was driving like Miss Daisy, so everyone's passing us. He's going 1 mile.
Did you arrive safely?
barely. I don't know. It's 1
Mental
mile over the
scars.
speed limit, and he missed. Every car should he missed 3, 4, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta turn around. I missed my exit." And then we would go back on the highway.
I'm
like,
rusty. I hadn't been in
missed my
Vegas
exit
for a while.
And he goes, "I missed my exit to get back on the highway to turn around." So
I don't usually hang out at the what motel were you at? You were at some real dive.
Well, that's. You know, you
I
gotta
don't
do what you
usually-
gotta do. Right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Right? No, I stayed at the Golden Nugget. I stayed at Free.
You were in the underground, if I remember right. You were coming up from the tunnels, and I picked you up.
Were you able to put quarters in your bed?
No, I rented my room by the hour, bro. Okay, you know how that rolls.
You know how it is. We've all been there.
I wish I could find those when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
Not for that reason, but because
tell us more,
I
Tim.
just need a
sleep,
couple
guys.
hours
It's
of
a
sleep
joke.
before
It's
I
to
hit
sleep.
the road again.
No, I get what you're saying though, man. It's listen, I will tell you, man. You watch all of Cary's videos in the past when he went to like 702 Legacy and these sports car shops with the Paradise Breaks as well, which visually has probably the coolest looking shop out of all the
and they're
shops.
super nice there,
Yeah,
and they've been building up. They've been building up their bargain boxes. They had a lot more than when I lived there.
Yeah, so it was good. I mean, 702 was awesome. So I know why Cary went there all the time. They hooked us up with a ton of cards. And here's the cool thing, man, is like if you guys go to your card shops, talk to the people just because it's a good time, man. They were very friendly, but we didn't ask for any discounts anywhere, but we get a discount at every single shop we went to, which is really cool. You know, like I don't expect that, but for people to do that and provide that gives good customer service and makes me to come back and go there again.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim, when you travel, do you stop in a lot of like, I guess when you're out and about, because you travel to a lot of shit, because where you're located, you can go to like 3 or 4 different states, right?
Yeah.
So are you hitting up
5 states.
Okay. Are you hitting up random card shops on the way, or when you travel, do you hit up card shops?
Most of the time I don't, because I travel at like crazy hours because I'm used to like living in the city. So like, you know, like it could take me an hour to get. Yesterday it took Josie and I 54 minutes to get 9 miles. So like I'm used to like leaving at odd hours. So like sometimes I don't get to a place in time for a card shop to be open. Now, if it's available, yeah, like I wanted to go with you guys when we were all in Kentucky together to the card shop, but at that point in time in the trip, I was tapped out of money. We had been on the road for like three weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like we were at National like for a week, and then we were in Ohio with Jimmy for a couple of days, and then we were in Kentucky for the yard sale.
Gotta step it up, dude. I was driving from Vegas there.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, not all of us have, American arbitrage money, but I want to do that more, and I've kind of been started looking into like how I'm going to do Chicago this year. Like, am I gonna fly to Chicago and then because what I wanted to do is I wanted to fly to Chicago and then rent a car. Once I get to Chicago, and then you drop that car back off in DC after the 127. But I'm like, it's tough to find good bargains.
I will drive up to DC and pick you up. How about that?
It's possible. We might have to do that.
We're just gonna have to stop at the road show in Kentucky on the way. We got to stop at some shops on the way to Chicago. That's all.
Yeah. So I think that it's definitely worth it. Like what I'll do it like if I'm going to a flea market, I'll see if there's a card show there, or I'll see, a card shop. And then a lot of times, like, for example, the Chantilly Sports Card Show is coming up next weekend.
How many hours is that away from you?
Chantilly Card Show is it depends. It's a lot quicker getting there in the morning than it is coming home. But like it's probably like a 45-minute drive. Yeah.
Is that the one where like you have to be in like a horse and buggy to get into it, or is that Shipshawana? That's
Shipshawana. No,
out in the country.
The Chantilly is the Chantilly, Virginia show, which is run by CSA. So it's one of the biggest card shows on the circuit. Yeah. Like you have like the National is obviously the biggest one, and then I guess you'd say Dallas is probably number 2. They have the East Coast National, which is a show I've never been to, which is one I definitely want to go to, which is in like I think White Plains, New York. And then you have like your next level of shows. The West Coast shows are a little bit. You have the Burbank, and then you have
which is West Coast now. That's
West Coast, yeah. And then Shipshawana is one, but then you have like the Philly show. and then you have the Chantilly show. Those two shows are like up there as far as, you know, like where you'll see like Card Collector there, Sports Card Investor, like all of those guys will come to Chantilly Card Show. Santiago Sports is there, you know, like all of those guys are at Chantilly. It's massive 3-day show. So I do the Friday. Friday is my best day at Chantilly because I go for the early entry.
Oh, okay.
So I get there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on
Friday. You
Friday.
have to pay extra for the early entry?
You used to. Now they used to have it where they had an early entry, VIP entry, and then they had a VIP entry, then they had an early entry. They just scrapped it, and now you pay your entry fee at 1 o'clock and you can go in. So I go on Friday from 1 to 8 and I crush it. And then I go Saturday and I kind of comb through the rest of the stuff because it's a big show. You can't do what we do and finish it in one day. Like, I mean, you'll see when you go to national, like Cary, and that was Cary's first national when we were together. That was my second national. Bro, we were there for 5 days and I don't think we looked at every like vendor.
It's an intense experience, I think, especially for bargain boxers, because it is bargain box heaven, quite literally. And then if you add, like with me, I mean, we all did content, but like I was producing the content next day, like that night after you guys went to sleep, and I would put out 5 straight videos. It weren't the best videos in the world, but I just wanted to get some content out, and because I was excited, you know. Yeah. But it was the national, man. It's like for people like us, you got to be prepared to do like 12 hours on the ground digging for, you know, 11 hours and 45 minutes of that, and then waiting in line for a pizza so you don't pass out. That's your day. Well, and then find the
trade
secret
night.
Bathroom. Yeah,
trade night at the end, and then you go to trade night at the end. You know, and then and shout out Soccer Expo. They are on for this year at National. So there's going to be
another let's do that again. 100%.
I want to do that because I'm not a soccer guy, but I wanted to go and experience that because what the takeaways I took from you guys last year was awesome. It was overwhelming.
I never produced that video, but I filmed. It was great. I loved that show.
You hear that a lot from Cary. Here's a guy I filmed it all. I just never put.
I'm going to put all my.
I probably will at some point.
Next month.
I need to. It's if I can find the SD card it's on. I don't know what happened. I got to find my Kentucky Roadshow. We had a great time at Kentucky Roadshow. That would do well.
Dude, I will tell you that of all the shops I've been to, the Kentucky Roadshow is one of the coolest shops.
They're awesome. Such nice people.
Dude, half of it is literally a museum.
We're 22 minutes in, so I just want to let everybody know that we are going to be giving away a massive giveaway at the end of this show. So
that's right.
Make sure you guys stay tuned. We did pass 1,000 subscribers, but I figured I'd let you guys know at 22 minutes, so that way, you know, those of you that have lasted this long will know to enter.
The real one.
Well, we're going to draw the winner for the Happy Birthday Ivan and the one from you too today. We're going to do that, but we will have another giveaway that we're going to be giving away for the following week. So that's going to be the very end. So we're not going to tell you guys when. So make sure you listen to the end to find it. All right. So It made a great point there. But okay, you guys both travel. You guys have gone picking stuff at. What are some tips that you guys have from your experience that you can give people that, because we get the comments all the time. I never have sales like this where I am a card things or find cards at garage sales, stuff like that. What are some tips to help people finding card shops if they're traveling, going on vacation, if they're going to, say, maybe a road trip or something along the line? We'll start with you, Tim.
Well, I mean, for me, I think a lot of it is social media. Like, you should, like, some people are like, don't want to do social media, right? And I think with the card industry, the hobby or whatnot, right? Yes, there's going to be a ton of that, like, influencer stuff, like Roth cards and stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying it like that. But there is so many people that do social media with cards because they love cards, right? Yeah. And it's a really, really fun way to like connect with people. And I think that, you know, obviously like with people on the different marketplaces on District, you know, Diptic Cards and some of the other guys and stuff like that. Like there's chat channels in there. So like there's people that are members of these marketplaces from all over the country. So like if I'm going to like a state, I might put something, hey, you know, is anybody from this state? Can you tell me some cool card shops, right? And you could always Google and stuff like that. But I think like a lot of it is utilizing social media as a search engine can be very helpful for finding card shops.
I think
my method might be a slightly unrelatable. Like I'll put on an Instagram story, like where should I check out? And obviously I have a little bit of a following, so I'll get responses. Another thing that I didn't utilize much this trip, but is really really good and it's basically Google, but it's ChatGPT. Go into ChatGPT, the little app, and just say, hey, what are some sports card shops in the Kansas City area, and But also, this is like my second or third time going through some of these cities. So like I know Capital City is my spot when I go through Lincoln, Nebraska. I know Art of Sports, super good. By the way, guys, if you're in the Kansas City area, they have hundreds of college football and basketball. They were at the end of this giant row of cards. I didn't get to it till I was about to pass out and Dawn was ready to go. So I didn't go over like the basketball. So there's a lot of great stuff at that shop for bargain boxing, like, the $1 to $10 stuff. So yeah, just go out, go to card shows. You can find those on like cardshows.com. I forgot what that one website is, but basically look up how to find card shows. There'll be websites that have all of them all over the nation. When you go to these card shows, ask, hey, do you know of any card shops around town?
Facebook groups too are really good. Like
we have
one here, the DC, Maryland, Virginia sports card group, and people post the shows for the weekend all the time in that Facebook group. So that's like one of my resources that I use.
Be willing to travel a little bit if you can, especially if this is a money making venture for you. If you're one in town that's 15 minutes away sucks. There might be one 45 minutes or even an hour and a half away. I drive all the time. My K&T is 40 something minutes away from me. But I mean, I would go to Jacksonville. I know there's shops I haven't been yet because K&T is so good. But I mean, I go to Orlando, an hour and 20 minutes down the road. I'll go, I'm going back to KK's, and that's like 3 hours away from me out there in St. Pete. So, I mean, I'm willing to travel, obviously, to go to shops.
Have fun with it.
Oh, yeah. I will tell you this, too. If, since we're doing this, because this is what we do, we love community, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out a card shop here and I drive from D.C. to Bel Air, Maryland. I might go there this week, actually, because I haven't been in a while with the baby and everything. But, like, there's a card shop called Bel Air Sports Card Shop, right, in Bel Air, Maryland. And I drive from D.C., and it's about an hour and 15 minutes to get there. And coming back, it can take sometimes 2 hours because the traffic going back is just so bad because I'm there all day.
Yeah.
But it is 1,000% worth it. I've sent these guys pictures of the shop before.
That's the one you sent me.
Thousands and thousands of boxes of cards, and they have tons of wax. They have showcase stuff. They have bargain stuff. They have vintage. They have modern. They have Pokemon. They have everything. And then, like, if you're local, that's a good place to like have like birthday parties for your kids and stuff like that. And the people that work there,
could an adult could have. I'm going to be 42 this year. Could a 42-year-old
birthday party there?
I will drive up if Rod will come as well, and then you guys, and we'll pick all day, and I'll have my birthday party there.
That might be awesome.
That sounds awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
So I'll talk to Mel and Tyler about that, and we'll get that set up.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
I'll
definitely give them a look.
The best birthday ever, man.
They're awesome people.
It's gonna be literally Cary sitting there with a table of like 12-year-olds wearing little hats.
That's 100% what I want.
They're all opening Pokemon cards, and he's sitting.
Yeah,
there,
it'll be just like 1990
box.
at McDonald's when I had my birthday, my 7th birthday there, and people were giving me. I wish I didn't open these. They were giving me new in the package food fighters. Do you remember the food fighters? Oh, those are so cool. Yeah. So yeah, like that and army ants and stuff. It'll be just like that, but with cards. I'll be grabbing cake with one hand and then probably mixing it up. There'll be cake at some point in the card boxes. Yeah. Is what I'm saying.
Hot mess you are. Let me tell you, hot mess express. So I will tell you, what both those guys said are great tips of that. I take it a step further. So when I do find shops, people get recommendations, I search YouTube, because if it is a good shop, more than likely someone has gone there and filmed a video, and you can actually get a firsthand look of the shop and the layout of the shop and stuff like that. So I do that all the time. So that's why I was adamant when I went to Kentucky to go to the Kentucky Roadshow, because I saw I think it was like Mojo or someone else did a video where they went to the Kentucky Roadshow, and I saw all the sports memorabilia and they were interviewing the people, and I was like, this is awesome. And I think when we were up for, so me and Cary and Tim were at the Highway 127 sale, which was the longest garage sale in the world. It's like 650 miles, goes through like 5 or 6 states. And I think from where we were staying, we were over an hour away from there. So normally I just wouldn't drive an hour just to a random shop, but because I looked at one on YouTube and saw how good it was, I was like, I made it. Literally, that was a must do for us. That was
And
part of
there's
our
so
bucket
many
list.
shops like that in the U.S., but that shop was 100% worth all the praise and credit it's been getting on social media. I mean, that they were so cool. They had good stuff. They had a freaking museum.
Dude, they
It's in
literally
Lexington, you know, where
Yeah.
UK is. So, I mean, it had a good vibe. It was a college town. Such a cool shop.
they went above and beyond for us too. They were
They were
very-
super cool.
They were super nice and like whatever we wanted. They even offered to keep the shop open a little bit later if we want to keep digging, going through stuff. I'm like, no, you guys are fine. Don't worry about that. But speaking about that, speaking of what you guys talk about social media, when I was in Vegas, someone posted Mikey Bags of Money posted a picture where he was
Shout out Mikey.
shout out Mikey at the Plaza Hotel, and he actually took a video of the PSA or the sports card vending machine with the slab in. So because of him posting that video up, it reminded me that they had that, and that was literally like a block away from where I was staying. So I walked down there and I actually did the vending machine where you buy a mystery pack and stuff.
You
like
went
that. So,
total Las Vegas degenerate. is what you
degenerate,
did.
yes. So instead of pissing away my money playing craps or slots, I decided to piss it away in a sports card vending
Such a great
machine.
story to
Yeah,
tell this
so-
story, man.
But so this is crazy. So when I went in there, I walked up and I was at a reselling convention, so I had a couple other resellers there, so someone could film me. And I walked to the vending machine, and they literally had an option for Pokemon, a relic card, I guess like a game used jersey, whatever card, an autograph card. Those were like $150 a piece, and then a sports card slab, and it was like 125 after taxes, like 135. So I wanted to do that. I was like, you know what? And there's random people saying that. I just asked people around me, which one should I do? Because I was gonna do whatever. I was going to be a tax write-off, for the business. So at this point, I love mystery packs, and it's probably the worst thing in the entire world because I know there's a floor, I know there's a ceiling, and I'm going to get screwed one way or another, but I still had to do it for the experience because I'm fun. I'm in Vegas. Why not?
Yeah.
And I asked this guy wearing a suit. He told me to do the sports one. And then I'm trying to do the machines all finicky and stuff like that. It was taking long, and they're trying to offer me help. And they knew a little bit too much information about the machine. So I asked the guy, like, hey, do you guys own this? Do you work? No, we just know the guy. So at the very end, I ended up pulling not a good card. We'll just keep it that.
No
I dropped my
banger.
video.
It
was a no
very on brand.
On
for
brand.
you.
Yeah. It's probably the most no banger card you can potentially get, all right, in a slab. So if you guys will go watch the video, go to pick a bunch of cards. I just dropped it last night or 2 nights ago. But make a long story short, come to find out the guy that was watching, I cut a wrestling promo. I was all pissed off at my card, and the guy that was watching was actually the CEO, owner of the casino.
You're not going to show him the card, man?
Should we show the card?
They're going to go watch Rod's video still.
So
Because Rod's going to do a solid and show a card. People want to see it, man.
Okay,
It's
so-
awesome.
all right, so
This is behind the scenes
First
from
and
Rod's
foremost,
video.
the presentation. That's how they come. So the presentation,
It's not
you get-
terrible.
No, A+, man. Las Vegas, it even says Las Vegas on the sack. The presentation's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good
Super
presentation.
pumped. Take it out, man.
Super
Like,
pumped.
oh,
You're
this
ready
is
for
awesome.
your Jaden Daniels PSA 10 auto.
Ready for my Jaden Daniels, my Michael Jordan, my LeBron
Yeah,
James.
the
What would I
86,
potentially
87
get?
Jordan.
And then I got this.
For those of you that cannot see and are listening on Spotify, that is a 2020 Spadini score. New England
Huddle.
Patriots huddle card.
Huddle
PSA
up.
10.
We're
Huddle
basically seeing the butts of the New England Patriots offensive linemen, basically. And I guess Tom Brady.
So that's what I got for $135. Let me tell you, I was quite pissed off. All right, I used some choice language, and I cut like a little wrestling promo.
Yeah, you're filming this because this is
filming,
a
yeah.
TikTok opportunity right here.
So I cut this promo. I'm calling, the guy asked me questions about what my experience was with the machine. I told him, and then I told him I had a YouTube channel. I'm going through all this stuff with him, and we start talking about stuff. And he's like he was like British, so he didn't understand why what a huddle card was. So I'm like, listen, I'd rather have a card of a player. I know there's a ceiling, but that's just crap. You know what I mean? So the guy with him had the alt app, scanned the card, and what do you think the value came back of that card?
You
How
told
much,
me,
Tim?
but I've
I'll
already
ask you
forgot.
first. Let's play the mystery game here. What do you think when we scan this in the alt app? What do you think this card came back value as?
$7.
I'll go
Okay, Cary?
13.
Came back a value. I said 20. Came back a value of $32, which I was shocked.
That's not too
There
bad.
is who in the world is buying that for $32?
Here's the crazy thing. So when I started talking to the guy, he actually showed me a picture of his phone. He goes, "Hey, I reached out to the guy. He sent me a picture. The guy bought this off eBay for $60. That was a sold comp on eBay for $60. So this guy originally bought this for $60 to put it in the actual machine. So make a long story short, after
So the
all
guy
that-
is communicating with the owner now.
yes, because the
Okay,
owner,
wow.
because of my experience, the owner, he started messaging the guys like, "Hey, what's going on? This guy's, throwing a fit right now at the hotel about this. And then he's like, hey, he showed me some other cards in there. So he showed me like a LeBron James, a Michael Jordan, Kobe, like some higher end cards in there at $500,000, which I guess that's the ceiling that you can get. Listen, I know what I'm getting myself into with this, but I will tell you the coolest thing and probably the best customer service. He walked up to the machine, he hit a button, he popped out another slab, and he walked by. He goes, "Here you go, man. You can have this one." So he gave me another slab for free when I was there. So I opened up this one, and this one was a Shaquille O'Neal rookie, PSA 10, hoops.
It's much better.
Much better. You know what I mean? So, like, I would have been fine getting this the first time. Even though I'm losing money, I would have been fine getting this the first time around.
That's the risk, yeah.
So, I mean, this one, I think the value when we scanned it was like $62. So,
and this is the thing. Like, there was nowhere on, allegedly, let me say allegedly because I don't know, but there was, if you're buying from those kind of things, try to figure out what the floor is and what the ceiling is. Hopefully it's said somewhere on that machine. So you at least know what the worst case scenario is and what the best case scenario is on a repack.
So this actually point I want to bring up to you guys, reason I want to talk about this here is we talk about repackers on here, we talk about breakers, and we talk about how it's almost a legal form of gambling. And they're literally putting these in casinos now. This was literally on the casino floor.
I've seen some of them shut down already. Because
they had PSA on them. They weren't officially PSA machines. That's why I think they had to rebrand them. But so here's my take is this. There was no odds on there. It didn't show me a ceiling. It didn't show me things. Like when you look at Arena Club does it right on their website. They show you like the top hits and they have a checklist.
They show you every single card everything. And the percentage, I believe, chance of getting that card.
When the card gets hit, they remove it from the checklist and they change the odds. So like that's a good feature. Okay. But there's no odds on this. There was no show me no one tell me what my ceiling, what my floor is going to be. I get it. The market fluctuates. There got to be some type of baseline.
Yeah. Secondly, floor and ceiling for when the card was put in the machine. That's reasonable, I think.
If my question to you guys, though, if they're going to start putting these in casinos like that and stuff like that, do you think that this is almost going to get to the point where we're going to have some type of regulation now with repacks or breaking?
I think they should regulate repacking. I'll say it. I don't know how.
Tim, you shook your head no over there, but think of it this way. What's the difference of me going to the grocery store and buying a lotto ticket, scratching off, buying a chance to get a big hit, for me buying a chance to go into a break and getting a big hit? What is the difference between the two?
There's no way that they can't even regulate the regular government right now. You think they're going to have to
Well, I mean,
regulate
you're right.
cards?
Like, as far as like practically, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I mean, there needs to be some sort of oversight.
The problem is that this is everything within this hobby should be self-regulated, right?
I agree.
But the problem is that with anything else, whenever there's something that's good, humans ruin it. That's just the natural evolution of human beings. They ruin everything. Like, I mean, Whatnot was a fantastic thing. I was the biggest Whatnot pumper in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And look what happened. They opened up the floodgates and they weren't doing proper checks. Now every single week there's a story on Instagram of somebody doing something ridiculous, right? And then there's people that are doing shady things in the hobby. Like this, it's tough to get away from it. So I think like the big thing is the regulation has to come within your self-discipline. Like it sucks that has to be that way, but it does. Like I remember when mystery packs were a thing before repacks, right? Like you've seen them at card shows, right?
Remember? They still have them, yeah.
So like I at the card shows, I see a lot of like the smaller vendors. They put together their own mystery packs and stuff like that, right? And like I always thought it would be a cool like content thing, like just to buy like mystery packs from all the mystery packs I see at a card show, especially the big ones, and see what you get. But then like you realize it's just like I don't know. For me, like I won't think I will ever buy a mystery pack. I don't think it's not what for me, it's not fun. Like, especially at the price points in which some of these people are paying. Like I've really thought about doing the Arena Club thing, where you buy online and then like you could sell it right there and stuff like that. Like I was contemplating doing that, and then I was like, "What are you doing, Tim? I have the worst luck too." Like I know.
Also remember, man, it's just gambling 101. The house always wins. I mean, ultimately, you open up enough. I would imagine odds would be that you would lose money, right? Even if you open 10, you're going to come out unless you just happen to hit the one big hit. And then, like, if you're buying Arena Club or anything over a period of time and you were tracking it, I would say there's a very good chance most people are losing money. Even if there's, at least they're getting money back, though. They can sell it back to Arena Club. And if they're doing it for fun and responsibly or whatever, then I guess that's totally fine. But, yeah, if you want to be somebody who's making a living in this hobby, there's a couple things you should do, and it's buy cards low and sell them for more.
Well,
or
singles.
Singles. Or in the case of me, I'll open packs, but I monetize that, guys. I mean, I will monetize my pack openings on 4 different sites that pay me for my videos. So that's part of my business model.
But also too, like, you would open up packs regardless if you're monetizing. You just wouldn't open up as many packs as you do right now. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't open up as nearly as many as I do.
But I mean,
right now.
You have fun along the process because
I've opened packs since I was a kid. I mean,
that's part of it. So I know Tim said that he wouldn't buy mystery packs of that. For me, I will buy mystery packs, but as Tim said, I mean, there's a limit the amount of money I'm going to spend on a mystery pack. You know what I mean? Like, I would spend probably $100. Like, this one was $135. That was just because I was in Vegas experience. But I will tell you, probably one of the worst things that ever happened to me is my very first mystery box. I bought a comic book mystery box from, I think it was a Demolition Comics in Las Vegas. And they would show you the big hits you can get in the box, stuff like that. I paid $100 for it. First time ever buying a mystery box online for something, and I literally hit the grand prize. And I hit like an $800 book. So, like, my first time buying a mystery box, I hit a grand prize. I've been hooked ever since. It's
the worst thing that could happen right there. Even though it's the best thing. Now you're
the best thing. Yeah. So, like, it would have been different. I would have bought like 2 or 3, hit one. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm kind of balancing out. But, like, hit one the first one. Now I'm just hooked, And then since then, like,
they got their $800 back probably. Whatever that comic was worth on you buying more.
Absolutely. So, but I mean, that was the thing, So the process. So I think that there is a fun aspect in it. So, just like if I go to casinos to spend money, I expect to lose the money when I buy. Yeah. The cool thing about mystery packs with cards is at least I know, even if I'm spending $100 to buy a mystery box, I'm getting back some type of money from that. Maybe $30, it could be $70, it could be $50. So I'm not just throwing away $100.
And I get that all the time on my comments, like, oh, that's junk, you just wasted money. They don't understand, like, my business model. But beyond that, it's like you physically got cards when you open them, which is what you're opening them for. You're not opening them necessarily to make $1 million. You're opening them up for cards. And another aspect is you're opening them up for entertainment. You go to a movie, you leave, you don't get to take home like a cassette or whatever with you. You saw the movie, it's over. You got your entertainment out of the $15, $20, $30 you spent at the movies. So,
like, if I go to casino, if I go to casino for 3 hours and I bring, say, $500 with me, if I come home with that $500 in my pocket, that's a win. Yeah. Because I literally just entertained myself for 3 hours and came back and I broke even. I'm happy breaking even if I leave a casino. You know what I mean? Because it's entertainment. So, like, that's a win for me. So, like, even if I lost money, it's still a win because I had fun.
You go in expecting, you want to get as many, like at a casino, you want to get, in my opinion, as many hours of entertainment as you can out of your money.
Listen,
it's money that you can lose. You don't need, if you're responsible and you're not just blowing
Point of the story is don't spend money on slab machines.
There you go. So. Yeah, there we go.
Don't be a rod.
Go spend hours in bargain boxes. Fall asleep at the bargain box. That's how much you're grinding.
Have you fallen asleep at the bargain box with you traveling? I assume like you probably would be like.
No, I haven't, man. But there's definitely days where I'm like, there's way too many bargain boxes here, and I know I've got to like try to grind them because I can't not. But I have the whole being on the trip. I have the whole prospect that I need to get 7 hours down the road tonight. 1, 2. Dawn is really, really patient, but she's not going to be patient forever. You know what I mean? So I have to deal with the fact that Dawn's going to want to leave at some point. Thankfully, she's gotten into like looking for Star Wars cards in the boxes and stuff because she's had some success. So she's actually been digging with me, which is insane. I never would have thought Dawn would do that. So
it's called true love.
Yeah, no, she's enjoying my my business and she's getting into it, which is kind of fun. So.
But there is something called bargain box fatigue, and I know Tim. Dude, I mean, you've been to all these card shows, and you're standing at these boxes for hours.
What is bargain box fatigue?
You don't know what bargain box fatigue is? It's when the first couple shows. I mean, the first couple hours you're at the show, like you can go through, but then over time, like you start to get tired. Like you look at the same cards over and over. You may not.
You got to hydrate. Hydration's important.
I don't get that.
You don't. The
only thing that I get is
he's got that Tim energy though. He's always like. Yeah, Tim's like a special break.
My neck starts to hurt
from looking down.
So eventually, I have to look through the cards like this.
And then your arms start hurting.
This.
And then his arms start hurting from holding his arms straight out.
I will tell you also that like it gets to a point where I have to take my backpack off when I'm at a box because there's the weight from all the cards starts to pile up. I don't know how many. I'm like half and half on sitting in chairs when they're available. A lot of times dealers will offer me a chair. It just depends on how deep I want to go into those boxes. Sometimes though too, like there's boxes that you go through and eventually like after like a row or so, like you're split. Like if you're a true bargain boxer, you get to a fork in the road where you're like, am I going to be able to live with FOMO by not finding the one massive card in this 4-row box? Or am I just going to chalk it up as an L and move on to the next table?
That's what I'm talking about. That's kind of bargain box fatigue I'm talking about.
Yeah, bargain box fatigue comes from the mid boxes that have a couple gyms in them. When you have a good box and you could go through 7,000 of them and you are just on cloud 9 and you'd be there for 24 straight hours if they let you. The fatigue comes in when you really have to, and this happened in the trip for me. Like there's 702 and Legacy was really good on our trip. Like there was no bargain box fatigue there because it was just banger, for us, small bangers,
No bangers.
But like
we had no bangers.
No actual bangers. But like we're like that's a $10 card for $6. We were like excited or whatever. But there was other shops I went to where I found stuff, but it was a grind, man. I mean, I would go through a 5-row and have 6 cards. That were worth getting. Those are they're not. I mean, that's part of the game, but those will cause fatigue.
So funny story. Me and Cary are walking to 702, and we're talking about no bangers. And some girls walk around the corner. She goes, did you just say no banger? And I was like, yeah, no banger. We started laughing. Then I started thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, she probably thought we were talking about like banging her. And he's like, no banger. But we were talking about the podcast. Gosh. So like that's what went through my mind after. I was like, oh no.
I have to be careful when we're walking down the street. Just yelling, you're just yelling no bangers. So it's a problem.
I'll tell you this. When I was at the card show, I went to the card show this weekend. My dad's in town visiting, so I'm in the card show, and I'm digging through a bargain box. And you guys have probably have been at this place before. You're going through a bargain box, and you're finding decent stuff, and you're making an okay pile, okay? And you're going through, and maybe you make a pile of like 30, 40 cards in there, right? And you spent like good 20, 30 minutes in this box. And then you go to like the next table, the table after that, and you're going down, and those boxes are so much better than the previous boxes that you spent so much time in. And then you get like frustrated, like, damn it, I just spent 40 or 50 bucks in this box, and I could have literally, I would never bought this stuff if I would have saw these other boxes first. So that's my frustrating thing I run into sometimes.
I will tell you that my processing has changed over time, right?
Okay.
Like I don't want to sound like a snob. Snob?
Yeah, snob.
I'm definitely gonna call you a snob. Whatever.
Yeah,
you say.
You do sound like when you say that, you sound like a snob.
Okay, but like I used to, and a lot of this is because of the way that the market has changed, right? Like when I was first doing bargain boxes, you could sell base chrome rookie cards or base first chromes for like good money, right? And you still can. Depending on the player, but it was a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more liquid, 2, 3, 4 years ago, right?
The window's a lot shorter
now, like I'm speaking specifically towards the live selling aspect of this, okay? Because like you can nickel and dime chrome rookies and chrome first all day if you can get them at 25 cents, right?
Yeah.
But I learned now that it's a lot more education. It's a lot more smart, right? Smarter. It's not a lot more smart. It's smarter. I'm tired. Okay. It's smarter to not buy dollar base cards. Okay. Because what happens is, and I do this, I recognize this a lot too after doing a breakdown. Because after I get home from a show, I re-sleeve, recase everything. I organize it by sport, and then I organize it by base, parallels, numbered cards, autos, patches, right? I realize that, like, you can get a lot of, like, dollar cards, base cards, right, that are not bad cards. But when you start looking at how much money you spend on those cards and how long it's going to take you to recoup that money, it's not worth it. So for me, and this is obviously from a selling standpoint, collecting standpoint is completely different. It's a great thing for collectors, but from a reselling standpoint, like I cannot. If I go through a box and it's all base cards, I'll probably stop looking through it, because for me, the only thing I'm gonna find out of that is gonna be a variation, which could be potentially worth it. Obviously, like the ones that slip through the crack. But when I have 700 tables at a big show, like I can't spend my time going through a box full of base cards. So like I gotta have some meat on the bones. I gotta see a couple numbered cards, an auto, a patch, and I think you'll notice too, more dealers are doing that, where it'll say like this bargain box is all numbered stuff. This bargain box is all rookies. You know what I'm saying? It's not all the time, but you're starting to see a little bit more of it, because those are the ones that, and then like when there's no sleeves, like Raw Dog, ODB, like I come home sometimes with a case card. I'm like, damn, that thing's got a ding on the left hand corner. You know what I'm saying? But like the Raw Dog boxes, like especially the chrome cards, them things look like a scratch off.
That's a good merch. That's a good no bangers merch idea right there. The Raw Dog boxes. I like it because it's a thing. It really is a thing. And then there's mixtures too, like that have some, like there's boxes like Cards HQ I was just at, where it's a mixture because you could tell they're getting collections, and then they'll just put them in the boxes as is. So not only is there some cards that are raw dogged in there, but there's also cards that are in top loaders. Like it's just a mixture based on whatever the collection buy was at that moment. So. Yeah, definitely. If you are getting cards in a raw box like that, it's hard to do, especially when you're tired. And depending on the light where you are, but look the cards over.
Well, you talk about Raw Dog. Let's talk about the new big dick that just came into the card industry. All right.
Segue.
Oh yeah, Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods. All right.
Well, look at you. Look at you, professional.
For those that don't know, Paul Skeens, they finally sold the pro debut patch rookie card, autograph card. And it sold for how much, Tim? Do you know how much it sold for?
$1.1 million. $1
million, 100%, man.
Who said it was going to sell for $1 million?
There you go.
I think we all said that.
Tim.
Yeah, we all said that. But
I think we all
people thought we were crazy when we said that. When I put that out on the internet.
Well, the internet, they don't know what they're talking about.
I really just, sorry, little tangent. In 20 years, there's no way that card's worth. I feel like that, like. I think of every pitcher who was huge 20 years ago, Randy Johnson, who was way better than Paul Skeens, right? I would think, career-wise.
Not in the beginning, no.
Not in the beginning,
now, Paul Skeens' trajectory is pretty insane. But
so maybe I'm just not educated. Yeah, maybe I'm just not educated enough on it. But it's not like he's like a dude who mashes 70 home runs. He's a pitcher.
You know, that's interesting. The thing too, is that it's funny you say that, because that's been a lot of the blowback on the internet so far, is that there's no way that card ever sells again for that much money, right? But I think that the big difference is that this card, and this is what we talked about when we talked about the finding of this card, the signing of this card. This card is different than every other card. Correct. There is no more truer one-of-one card. And then we know Topps is getting the license now. You're going to see this. Can you imagine? All right, Paul. Let me pose this question for you guys. Paul Skeens just sold for $1.1 million, right? What do you think a Jaden Daniels pro debut patch autograph 1/1 would sell for? The same exact concept, same everything, because that's what's going to happen now. Moving forward, they're going to be wearing the patches.
Probably more, right? I would assume more.
Right?
10 million?
Like $57.
$10 million.
That's the Eagle fan of me talking, all right?
Exactly.
That's the Eagle fan. But no,
I think it would sell for $10 million.
No, not $10 million, but I think it would sell for like 3. I think it would sell for 2+. I think it would go a lot higher.
But here's the thing. I mean, next year we're going to experience this. Cooper Flags, I mean, they've alluded to it. They can't confirm it 100%, but like Cooper Flags is going to get one within the NBA jersey. I imagine, I don't know when the licensing exactly goes over.
Somebody told us in one of the...
I don't know if Cam Ward and Shador's are going to get one, or it's going to be the next year's class. I'm not sure. But what do you guys think about the MVP and the award winner patches that are on the cards, that are going to be on the cards next year?
I think that's cool. And then also, they're doing the gold patches, too.
That's what I'm talking about, the gold patches. Aaron Judge is getting one. I think Shohei. Paul Skeens has one because he was Rookie of the Year, right? they're all getting those gold patches that they literally worked with Topps to put on so that they could put them in cards later.
I think it's great because we want, and we've been screaming at the top of our lungs on our soapboxes saying that we want more game use, patches, more game use stuff, game use relics, game use everything else. So I think it's good. I think it creates hype. I think it gives someone the chase. Like, I like the idea of potentially hitting a big card when I buy a hobby box. Like, I prefer, granted, I'm not going to hit one, but like, for the chances are there for me to hit one. Like, you never thought you hit a
it happened. It freaking happened. And for all the gimmickry that Topps does, and there is some gimmickry in there, this is a legitimately, like, I think Tim said it really well. This is special. And maybe the Paul Skeens will go up in value, not just because it's Paul Skeens or whatever his career happens, but because it was the first real one that blew up everything. And maybe it becomes like some sort of iconic thing 20, 30 years from now that's just a part of sports cards and sports card culture. But yeah, it's a true game used one of one. It's not 70 different variations. It's not a red shimmer and a red, cracked ice, a red sapphire, and then 14 different superfractors and the black Pandora. It's not like one of variations of one of ones. It's a true one of one. Can't be replicated. It's special. So
it's a piece of history, though. That's the coolest thing. Like, it's his pro debut. Like, that's like, let's just say Paul Skeens goes to the Hall of Fame. He has the crazy career, follows the same path as like Nolan Ryan, or goes down in history, one of the best pitchers. Like, that's literally a piece of history. His debut patch, like, that's like
museum Cooperstown level.
Yeah,
piece.
So like that takes it to an all new level that we never had in the sports or sporting cards. I think that's huge.
I think it's cool that Dick's bought it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yes,
I mean, like, I'm not like. I feel like there's too many people that get mad who buys what card, right? Like, who cares, right? Like, whoever wants it,
now it's up for public display. So now
that's pretty cool,
people,
right?
Fans in Pittsburgh can go see it. It's great marketing.
Fantastic!
It's great. I mean, I think it was a brilliant. Whoever's the marketing director, whoever made that decision at Dick's,
nobody
to go
had
after
that on their bingo
brilliant.
card.
No.
Yeah.
So for the people listening that you guys don't know, Dick's Sporting Goods bought that card. They're going to put it on display in their store in Pittsburgh, that's what they're talking about for great marketing. That's a tax write-off for them. But I think this is the point I think no one's really talking about is, and this is something Gary Vee mentioned many, many years ago. He said that once you start seeing celebrities getting into buying cards and start doing cards, you're going to see a huge influx or influencers because, these are people that have a lot of pull. Now, if you get corporations coming into the market, now you're getting money where you can't compete with in it. So I think that takes the whole card level to another level on top. So you have the influencers, the celebrities, and now you have corporations. And
like you said with the whole tax write-off idea. I mean, this is just a tax write-off for them.
Yes.
So like, why not spend even more if they had to get that for a marketing cost? I mean,
dude, think about this.
Great idea.
$1.1 million to get this card, and that made national news across the entire country.
Yeah.
For them to get that type of publicity and pay for advertising, they would have probably spent tens of millions of dollars.
You're right. To get the level of advertising, it would have been 10x that probably, if not more. 100%. That's a great point too. So it was a steal of an ad.
Yeah, it was a steal of an ad. So I think that like this opens up the floodgates because I could see massive like Hooters or other massive like restaurants doing something.
Hooters is the first one you thought of, not Twin Peaks, just Hooters.
Well, first off, I live in Florida, right, where the first
just like
Hooters was
that you went to Hooters first out of every company in the world.
Listen, all right. I was in Vegas. I had my room. I rented by the hour. Leave me alone, all right? So that's the first thing that came to my mind, all right? Tim, you can start talking about what.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Somebody clip it.
Yeah,
clip it, Ivan, if you would, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Ivan,
my wife. My wife's being TikTok
department.
like, what is this? But now, like,
honey, I want to go to Hooters to see the Paul Skeens 1-of-1 auto. Sure, that's going to work. That's going to really work.
Tim, what are your take on this? I mean, do you see more corporations getting into this card market in the future, or are taking this approach to really try to?
I mean, yeah, you just it has to be the right market for it, though. Like Dick's was the perfect one. I mean, it wouldn't work if like Netflix bought it or if like Walmart bought it.
Chili's.
Walmart. Chili's. I mean, Walmart does have cards. I mean,
Yeah, they do, but boy, I mean, listen,
they own the Broncos.
Walmart also has a lot of like, Florida style things that go down in Walmart.
Very,
You
very
guys ever
true.
heard the story about we were at the 100-mile yard sale, one of the first ones that we went to as a group, me, Leroy, Eric, and Cernock, and me and Leroy were passed out in the living room on like a couch in an arrow bed or whatever, right? And I talk in my sleep sometimes, and I woke up and Leroy wakes me up. He's like, "Dude, are you okay?" I'm like, "Why? What?" He's like, "Man, you had this crazy dream, and you woke up and you were talking about bars being in Walmart, like drinking bars." And he's like, "I don't know if that's a good idea, but yeah, I mean, you can't put something like that in a Walmart." But a Dick's is perfect. They don't have Sports Authority anymore. That would have been a good one, But like maybe you see more of organizations like it would have been smart if the Pittsburgh Pirates
Well, they tried
bought
to.
it for $1.1 million
Sure, they
and put it in the stadium as
Well,
like a
they were trying to
display.
be cheap. Like, I would just give them tickets for free for the
yeah,
next 30
exactly.
years.
The Pirates. What a home plate Pirate tickets cost for the season? Like $200.
You couldn't pay me to go to a Pirates game, right? So just put it that way. But no, I mean I don't know. I think that there's more room. But here's the thing: like you said, Dick's wasn't even on our bingo card, so we didn't even. It wasn't even on the
It's
radar.
also another thing that could be edited into a short if needed.
Jeez. Man, we're killing it right now, huh?
I'm just saying, just out of context.
So I will say this though, I will say, being all serious here, I'm glad though that it's sold through Fanatics and it didn't go through the eBay authentication process, because who knows what kind of fake card you may have got through there, So I'm not sure if you guys heard the news. I'm not sure if you guys
Dude,
heard
you are
the
a
news.
segue king today. I love this.
Listen, Shohei, if you guys didn't see, Tim's going to talk a little bit more about this, but
I do want to make sure I give the proper credit to the guy who I found this story from, because it was on Twitter and he is following us, No Banger Sports for our
Awesome.
podcast on Twitter. So I do want to make sure I get this correct. Here we go. This was where is it at? Okay.
You got it.
Bomba Squad Dan at Bomba Squad Dan on Twitter. Shout out. He is a Byron Buxton 101 and Griffey collector. He is the person who purchased this card. The card was actually purchased through ComC on eBay. And Rod, I'll let you take the rest of the story from there.
So, for those that don't know, he bought this card. So, when you buy a card over $100 on eBay, they send it through the authentication process. So like for example, when I sold my Shohei card, I sent it. The guy bought it. I sent it to California. It went through the authentication process. Once eBay says it's authenticated, they will personally mail it directly to the buyer. And then if that buyer wants to return something, they will literally send it back to the authentication process, make sure it's real, there's no funny business going on, and then mail it back to me. So that's how the whole process works. It takes, it may take an extra 3 to 5 business days for that process to go through, but the guy would send the card through. It was approved through the eBay authentication process. The guy got it, and it just looked funny. It was a Shohei refractor. The card looked funny. And once he started feeling it, looking at it, he's like, there's something off. And then he flipped the card over and he saw they started to peel back the top layer on it and realized that someone laminated the card. So it was actually a base card that was laminated. And Tim, didn't you say that it had they even had refractor written on it, just like the normal one would?
Yeah. So the guy purchased the card. This is what's interesting. This whole thing is on Twitter, by the way. Yeah. The guy purchased a card in like September. So he's had it in the sealed eBay authentication team bag or whatever the case it's in. He pulls it out to take it out, and he looks at it, and the refractor on the front. This is a Shohei Ohtani Stadium Club rookie card. He paid $300 refractor. Thought it was a refractor. Paid $354 for it or something like that. So he's looking at the way that it's refracting and notices that something looks off. So he starts like really looking at it and feeling it. And feels, he's like, this card, and it's all, he filmed the entire thing. He's like, this feels like it's laminated. And he starts looking at it, he starts peeling it off. And he peels the lamination off on the front, and it's like a refractor lamination. Like, makes it look like it's a refractor. Then he peels the back off, and on the lamination peel, it just says refractor, just like how it does like on a Topps card. And they put it right in the right place for a Stadium Club card. And That's how he knew that it was fake. So the thing that's crazy is that the card was sold by ComC. Okay, so you got ComC involved in this now. Sold on eBay, authenticated on eBay by PSA. Like, imagine if that card goes to PSA to get graded. Does it get graded or does it get sent back to you? You know what I'm saying? Because if they're authenticating it, PSA is authenticating it, that card could have gone through PSA and somebody would have graded it a 10. And it would have been fake the whole time. Like, we don't know. Obviously, that's all hypothetical. But, like, and the thing that's crazy is that within that thread, there was another instance of somebody else doing their on Facebook where they had a fake card as well that sold on Facebook, and it was the same sort of concept with the fake refractor thing, which is kind of hard because, like, when you're digging through bargain boxes and you find a card in a case, like, how many times do you take that card out of the case, Cary, when you're digging through a bargain box and you're buying it?
Not often, honestly. I probably should more, but a lot
This
of times I leave it in.
Think about it, right?
Yeah.
So the other one was Jackson Holiday autograph, and it was basically like a laminate thing that they put on a piece of cardboard. And
You would
sold
hope
it like
you
that.
could eye it, though. Just like, I mean, the amount of hours, hundreds of man hours we spent looking at cards and going through boxes, I would assume I could tell. But obviously, if it's that good of a fake, the Shohei that it passed,
I mean,
PSA.
it went through three of the biggest companies in the hobby.
Went into ComC, and if ComC, when it gets sent in, if that's how it arrived there, then obviously that's how it arrived there. So, like, they would have checked to see if it was real too. So that,
I don't
wild.
think ComC checks to see the card's real or not, because I've seen another instance where they sold a reprint and then it failed authentication, so it got sent back to them. And they relist as a reprint.
I know. They reject a certain amount of cards that might just be condition or whatever. And okay. I imagine I could be wrong. I guess I'm speaking without really knowledge on this. I'd imagine if they felt like it was fake, they would reject it. But I don't know.
You're probably right. I mean, you're probably right. And just like anything else, so stuff's going to slip through the cracks. So, like, I know this is a big issue, but let me give you some numbers here. And so you guys know, Tim, take a guess. How many sports cards do you think eBay sold in 2023?
2023?
In 2023, how many sports cards do you think they sold on their site?
25 million.
I'm gonna go 25 million and one.
So I pulled up numbers that nearly 38 million sports cards were sold on eBay in 2023. So and we're only hearing about a couple instances on this. Like, I'm not worried about it, because here's the thing: there's always going to be an issue. There's always going to be. They're going to miss something. Like, I sent comic books to CGC, which had a reverse cover. So, like, you flip the comic book over, and one side would be one cover. You flip it over, and the back side of the cover. So you can look at both sides of covers. Well, one side's considered the front, one side is considered the back. So when CGC slabbed it, they sent it back to me. They had it reversed. So they sent me that they slabbed the back of my comic book instead of the front of it. So whatever. So I sent back to them. They fixed it, stuff like that. But there's times PSA has made errors where they have mislabeled stuff. They have, sent off your slabs with the wrong labels on it. Like,
dude, there's a guy who on Twitter, his entire submission, all of his cards had the wrong labels on the other cards.
Yep.
So he submitted like 10 cards and they swapped the labels on all 10 cards. So not one of his cards that he got back was the right label.
Listen, I've done that with when I packaged up my boxes to ship on eBay and literally print off my labels and put the wrong labels on wrong boxes before, because I was just super tired and I just wasn't paying attention. I was doing multiple things. So, like, I'm sure that's going to happen on eBay. It's going to happen PSA. Like, yes, we're going to have this. We're all human though, bro. Like, you're going to sit there and tell me that PSA graded over 1 million cards last month. Do you think that they're not going to have some type of errors along the way?
It's inevitable.
I'm all of understanding of human error, right? But, like, if y'all gonna be taxing them PSA taxes, then I'm expecting, like, listen, the human error, right? But how much of that is that? It can't be human error. That has to be machine error, and the human error is on the checking process of it. Because if a guy is going up and down on a card to tell me if it's a 10, a 9, a 8, a 7, or a 6, but yet they can't put the right label on it. Like that, like you see where the discrepancy is between those two things. Like it's such a meticulous process to grade a card, and it takes 2 years to grade it, but you can't imagine waiting 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, 2 months for those cards to come, and they finally come, and you're so excited. And now you got to send them all them back in, and they probably charge you shipping to send them back in.
And who knows if they're going to be expedited back to you either.
Exactly. Like that's my whole thing. Is I understand the human error aspect of it, but like
by the time you get it back, you got yourself a bowl PSA 10, and it's not worth anything anymore.
I'm sure they're paying the people that are grading, they're reviewing the cards. They paid them probably the big bucks, but the guy who's putting on the labels,
they pay them like $14 an hour.
Well, the guy putting on the labels is probably getting paid $14 an hour.
He's probably getting $10.
Yeah, so I mean, they're probably getting the general money on that. So like, I don't know, everyone sits there and wants to bash PSA and bash eBay authentication process, stuff that like error's going to happen, stuff's going to happen, but there's a famous saying is we will never know the perfect scam or the perfect crime because they never got caught. Yeah. So scammers and people in crime that do stuff are always one step ahead, and we can always play catch up once we catch it along the way. So stuff like this has been going on for years. We just
that's a great movie. Have you seen that? Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can. Great.
Yeah, classic. Yeah,
I will tell you this. ComC did comment on the post.
Oh,
they said that there is no time limit for a buyer to return a fraudulent item. Any item we confirm to be fraudulent, altered, or counterfeited to deceive a buyer and increase its value will be returned to the original consignor. Please contact us at so we can start the return process.
I will also say this: one silver lining in all of this is this got a little publicity, and hopefully this will mean this particular style of forgery of the card or whatever, however you would call it, will be on people's radar now. So they'll be caught, and hopefully, obviously, they'll probably be one step ahead and come up with something else. But for now, this stuff may get caught a lot more now that people are aware, of this issue a little bit more.
Well, that's a good thing about the hobby. The community part is huge. So when there are issues like this, people are putting out there, letting people know what's going on, what to look out for. And I think ComC, that's a huge step up for them because they're saying, you know what? Everything comes to us, we're going to honor it. So yeah, we're going to take care of you. You're going to be taken care of. So I think Tim made a good point. Like you're going to have these things happen, but it's how they react or recover from that.
It's eBay.
eBay. What?
Oh, sorry. I just, me, I interrupt stuff.
No, you're fine.
It's like eBay 101. That's what I always talk about with negatives on eBay.
Yeah.
Is you're never responding to a negative. If you do, for the person that had the issue, you probably already tried to solve that, and maybe they weren't willing to work with you, or something happened, miscommunication. You got a negative, but you're responding to the negative for the people who are looking at the negatives to see what your response was. So that was exactly what ComC should have done. They already had these policies in place. If there's something that we missed or whatever, or that was missed that is fraudulent, send it back. You're going to get your money back. We're going to get it back to the original consignment. They're taking care of the issue, and everybody could know now and hopefully feel good with ComC that if there ever is an issue and they know about it, that they'll be taken care of.
Well, that's how you do it. The president from SGC, like anytime that if you watch over the past couple of years, anytime that SGC's had an issue with stuff's backed up or issues with a grading process, something like that, he literally sits in front of his desk and be like, "Hey, we messed up. This is how we're going to fix it, and this is how we're going to move forward for it." And like they acknowledge it. They say, "Hey, this is the problem, and this is the solution." So I got a lot of respect for that. So I always think, hey, you know what? We can all make mistakes along the way. It's how you recover from the mistakes really speaks highly of your character and your company. Exactly. And I don't know. I mean, Tim's over there digging for something. I don't know what he's digging for over there. So, a bottle of water there.
Yeah,
so,
a little parched.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, are you worried though, Tim, going forward about the authentication process now? If you get a big card sent it through eBay, are you worried about it or buying a card off there?
I mean, I've heard multiple horror stories before, but I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had any issues. So I hate the term, but it's the cost of doing business. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sucks that, you have to put your trust in somebody, but I also think that it's a good checkpoint for those sort of style of cards, the higher end stuff that you sell on eBay. But I do think that it will, like, all these instances of eBay, like, problems, like, I've seen people who have had PSA slabs, and the PSA is the everything comes up on the PSA database, go through authentication, and it get declined in authentication. So, but like you said, errors are gonna happen. You know, it sucks, but I mean, I don't. It's not like I'm gonna not sell cards over
Here's the thing. The good
$100.
thing about being no bangers, guys, is there's a lot less people forging Jerome Moiso rookie cards and God Sham cards, the stuff that we're dealing with.
Sham
Dude, he was a
Sham
I was
God-
I was
the Sham
about
God
to
crossover.
I was literally looking on eBay the other day to order a Sham God jersey, a Wizards jersey. I was
Were you
like, dude,
really?
yeah, dude, God Sham God, dude.
Yeah,
He's a legend.
nothing-
I was so upset the Jazz didn't select him in '98. In the second round, we had a pick. We got somebody else who didn't do anything.
That was extremely aggressive. You just
No, well,
you were really upset about that.
I
The
was
PTSD?
upset about that. Yes, I was. I wanted the
Where
Jazz
did he
to
go
get
to
God
school?
Sham God.
Providence.
He went to Providence. Yeah, dude,
Well-
one of the best dribblers in the history
Yeah,
of.
he had his own. He had a crossover that was called the Sham God. Everybody was trying to do it
100%.
when we were kids.
I haven't heard that name in a very long time. So,
There we go, dude.
But,
Bringing it back.
so speaking about eBay, what about Bobby Witt? You see, Bobby Witt's using an alias to buy cards on eBay now. So he just doesn't want to compete against other customer or other, I guess, buyers and stuff like that, or know that's him that's kind of trying to buy these cards. But I think it's great for the hobby, Tim. I mean, what are your thoughts on players going on eBay buying cards?
I love it. I love it. I think it's huge. I saw a clip of Adley Rutschman and Jackson Holiday getting cards signed by Paul Skeens when they were at spring training this season. There's a young prospect for the Philadelphia Phillies, Dante Nori, and he's been on Twitter trying to build the rainbow of his first Bowman.
love
And
it,
it's like
man.
a big thing
That's
in
cool.
the hobby world and on Twitter right now is that. But yeah, I think it's super cool. We talked about this a few times before. I think it's important. I think it's huge for the hobby to get those guys' names out there. And I completely understand Bobby wanting to like kind of have an alias doing it because, like the one thing is too is that like you will get people who are like going to be like on over aggressive and be like, hey, I got this card, and like sending them DMs and like
Yeah.
but more people than others are really cool about trying to get these cards into the hands of the people that are chasing them. So I think it's a nice little cool wrinkle in the hobby, and I think you're going to see more of it moving forward.
I think it feels like, and maybe it's always been so, but it feels like it's becoming more and more trendy amongst, especially Major League Baseball players. I've noticed, like, I mean, big names, Trout, obviously, Bobby Witt. Before, the most famous like baseball player collector was Dimitri Young, when he sold off his giant, massive collection 5-6 years ago that he had amassed.
Yep.
So I think it's cool.
If I'm not mistaken, I did see someone, I guess on Twitter or something like that, was talking about how they pulled a card and they contacted a player. They said, hey, next time you're in town, if you want this card, I'll trade you this, but you have to go out drinking with me and my buddies. I don't know if you saw that. So like,
That's cool.
Like that's a cool bounty to have, instead of like, I don't want to trade, like, I'm all about experiences. So like if I pulled a big card and those guys like Rookie Patch, something like that, he really wanted that, I could send him a message and be like, I'd rather him come to town for a baseball game than we go out, getting some beers at the bar and hanging out, because that experience is going to 10 times better than anything else you can give me. You know what I mean? It's like having that one-on-one experience, interacting with the players. So I think it opens up the doors for a lot of cool things that could potentially come down the line. Seeing these guys at sports card shows, not just going to get autographs at a convention or, like the traditional we had for many, many years. Like I think Fanatics Fest, we talked about in the previous episodes, doing the fan fest they did where they had the players walk around. They had Tom Brady walk around. They had Grunk walk around spiking his card off a showcase at one point in time.
Don't do that, bro. I'm good with that.
but you see what I'm saying? Like that's a cool experience. Like if you came to my table and literally and had a Grunt card and you would spike your card off my table, I'm all for that, because
I think they did it really well too. I'm cool with those experiences if they're authentic. And I understand they're getting paid to do this. And I think from watching a lot of that at Fanatics Fest, I felt like they did it really well. Like, I mean, I felt like the guys were engaged, they were it's at least somewhat interested, and they were talkative. I think that was really well done. If it's just like anything in life, if it's an obligation they have contractually and you could tell, like at autograph signings, you see this from time to time. There's guys that are super friendly and want to talk to you, and there's other guys who are in there to make money, and more power to them. They built up the legacy to do that. But as I feel like as long as the experience is organic as it can be, I'm for it. But if people are moping around, which hasn't happened, but if people are going around because they got to, and then you can tell they don't want to be there, I don't think that's positive. But I haven't seen that happen, at least.
Speaking about experiences, though, man, tomorrow is opening day. It's
Yeah.
open day baseball already. I know Tim's probably foaming at the mouth over there because baseball is his thing. We just finished up spring training. A lot of Major League Baseball has put their final rosters together right now. Topps is dropping their celebration box on tomorrow. I think at like noontime, which is the opening day box of cards. But Tim, what should people be looking out for right now when it comes to Bowman cards, Topps cards? With the final rosters are put in play. There's so much hype going into the opening day. So what kind of advice could you give to these guys digging through bargain boxes this next week or two?
Well, I think the first thing is you want to see all the guys who made the roster, opening day roster, who are prospects. That's the most important thing first, because you want to, if you have those guys' cards, you need to get them ready. And this is the thing that's crazy, is that baseball is such a long season.
Yeah.
So like, there's going to be so many dips and valleys and peaks throughout the season. So I think that's the most important thing. And then you want to look at the guys that, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to start off the season injured. Gunnar Henderson's hurt. Mookie Betts isn't going to be playing, like those sort of guys. Those are going to be opening up some roster spots for some guys that you might not think about. So you want to see who's hot out the gate. Like, you want to watch games, a week span, how a player performs within a week. And then you want to see guys who like have multi-home run games within that first week. Like, those are going to be the guys that are going to get that instant bump. But prospect-wise, if they didn't make the major leagues, you want to look at the guys in AAA who didn't necessarily make it. There'll be some guys in AA and single A that aren't going to be on the radar for being called up. But you want to know the guys in the AAA rosters and how they're performing, because as soon as a guy gets hurt, more times than not, they're going to reach into the farm system to call somebody up. That's your opportunity to sell. Bang.
Can you break down kind of like the farm system a little bit between single A, double A, and triple A for the people that don't know what you're really referring to?
So
in regards,
baseball has minor leagues. You have your triple A, which is your highest level minor league team. Then you have double A. Then you have single A. You have low
rookie
A,
ball, yeah,
low A and
Low A,
high A, and then
rookie.
rookie ball.
Yep.
And then you have your international leagues too after that. So like,
Independent leagues.
yeah, so those are all going to be kind of like your different levels. But generally, people get called up from the AAA level. There are rare instances where people get called up from AA, but usually they get called up to AAA for like a game and then called up to the major leagues.
Yeah.
But you want to keep your eye out on injuries, because that's kind of where people get an opportunity. Like, unless somebody's like really slumping and they get designated for assignment, like outside of that, they usually only call people up for injuries and roster spots. But yeah, you want to look out and see how those guys are performing who did crack the rosters. Obviously, Christian Campbell is the biggest name going into the season of people who made the major league roster. He is a prospect for the Boston Red Sox. You guys have heard me talk about him for a lot over a year.
Yeah.
He was a guy that I was shopping for at the national that we were at last national. And it definitely paid off, because he made a crazy jump. He wasn't a guy that when that product came out, he wasn't the chase, right? So like, it just goes to show you that like, when you're shopping for Bowman, like, it's never a bad thing to just buy an auto for a guy that's like, a couple bucks for a first Bowman auto, because you never know when they're going to take that elite jump with their abilities. So that's kind of some of the things you're looking for. But like I said, baseball is a long season. So there's going to be a lot of different plays throughout the year. People are going to have slumps. Like, rarely ever does a player go from start to finish and doesn't have a slump.
No.
So
do you follow AAA ball then too? Because I know you're big into baseball. So what if people that want to follow those prospects in AAA, do you have any resources that they could use, or what's your recommendation in that?
A lot of times you can, like, Twitter is huge for me for that. MLB Pipeline will like tweet out like if a guy has like a big game at AAA level. But yeah, I generally just check the box scores in AAA, see what people are doing throughout the week. And Let's Talk Wax is one of the, during the baseball season, Let's Talk Wax on YouTube is by far, hands down, my favorite guy to watch when it comes to the baseball cards. Bowman, specifically Bowman. He only does Bowman. And in translation to actual statistics. So he takes the statistics from all the all the minor league players for every level. and he does like a hot sheet for every 2 weeks.
We are really in the golden age of being able to easily or more easily educate yourself and that's what I think all of us love about like the Bowman stuff. Not just baseball is obviously the historical one that's been around with people prospecting forever, but like with Bowman U, football and basketball out now, it's a similar game. But we're in the golden era. Like, if you want to learn about like what's hot in Bowman, Let's Talk Wax is amazing. I mean, we've had Gabe on here, right? I mean, if you want to know about college and high school football in particular and basketball, Gabe's a great resource. There's people out there like 10, 15 years ago, people were doing the same thing, but they had to put in a lot more legwork. They had to go deep dive into the web pages or whatever to figure this stuff out. And now we have, I still would say, educate yourself as much as possible. It could be as simple as box scores or watching games, or Twitter's huge if you follow certain sites. But I mean, we're in the golden age to educate yourself, and if you're educated, you're going to have an edge over, a lot of the people who are at card shows just trading kabooms back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's one level of this, and it's not a bad level. It's obviously very liquid, but there's levels to this game. And when you're doing no bangers, the more educated you can be, the better, because then you can find those gems in the bargain boxes.
I agree with you 100%. One thing, though, I got to correct you on right there is Bowman U basketball is not out yet, buddy. It doesn't come out the next month, which pisses me off because we missed the whole basketball season. We're
Horrible
in March
timing.
Madness right now. This is one of the most exciting times in all sports. I mean, just think about it. Last weekend we had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day long, nothing but basketball. We're down to Sweet 16 right now. And we still don't have Bowman U Chrome out for basketball. It comes out the first week of April.
I'm excited. I'm excited that I bought a Tyrese Proctor auto at Legacy when we were in Vegas.
Yep,
he just went off for like 26 points in the Sweet 16, so that was good timing. Everybody's talking about Cooper Flag and what is it? Con Canopal. I don't know how to say his name, but like.
What about my boy?
Which one?
My boy from University of Maryland. He is.
See, I don't even remember who it
criminally
is.
undervalued right now.
Criminally.
Derek Queen.
Oh no, dude! I've been bidding on Derek Queen stuff last week. He's going to be a top. They're saying
10.
A top 10 pick right now. Derek Queen. He's in the USA McDonald's Topps Chrome set. Great point. Yeah, game winner he had.
He hit the game winner. He's from Baltimore originally, and I just found a blue. This is the thing that drives me crazy with the McDonald's All-American cards. The blue lava and the blue ray wave are the exact same damn parallel. The only difference is the blue lava is numbered to 75 and the blue ray wave is unnumbered. But they're the exact same parallel. It's so weird. So I found a Derek Queen McDonald's All-American blue ray wave, non-numbered, in a dollar box on Sunday. And, I ended up getting it for I think it was like in the... it cost me like grand total like $1.32 for the card, and I was stoked. And then I go to comp it when I got home, and I'm like, this card's selling for $1.99. Like, this is what is going on. And then I start looking at the numbers, and I'm like, the world is not familiar with Derek Queen right now, but like the dude is absolute dog.
He's just one of He give it a couple months when people are starting to look into the NBA mock drafts and look beyond Cooper Flag. Because you got Dylan Harper, you got Ace Bailey, that is right now maybe one of the most underserved niches. I think that you can go find stuff in bargain boxes right now is the college basketball. Football is maybe more exciting, even to me. I love the football, but like the basketball, if you're educated on college basketball, and everybody's talking about it right now, but if you're looking into it in September, if you're looking into it in the dead of summer, and you're seeing who's coming up or who's got cards and you're paying attention beyond Cooper Flag, there's a lot of plays and a lot of guys. Like Derek Queen has got to be all over bargain boxes in America right now. Yeah. And I'm talking autos, not just – I could imagine you could be finding – I could be wrong, but I could imagine $5, $2, $1 autos.
Yeah, because
because people are looking for Cooper and throwing everything else away.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say. You nailed it right there. That's the big difference. And even the base Coopers, I found in that same box. I found a base Cooper Flag. It's a $10 card right now. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of guys in that set to look out for, and if you guys do even a little bit more digging, there's a lot of first rounders this year. Boogie Fland is probably going to be a first rounder.
I picked him up in the same box too.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's guys who, you can get super cheap, especially if you're getting autos, where if you pay $1, you could make more than $1 right now if you want to flip it, or you can see what happens and see if it goes up. But yeah, there's a lot of plays in the college basketball game, and it's probably going to get heightened here. Everybody's going to be more aware of it with this Bowman U coming out. Which is good. I'm excited for it.
But here's the thing, like Tim said earlier, that he stays away from the base Chrome rookies and stuff like that now. But here's an instance where there's a very small window. So if you know the product's coming out, you know the checklist of what's available there. Cooper Flag doesn't have many cards out right now. He just has the McDonald's cards, if I'm not mistaken, right? Just
and
the McDonald's.
Tops now. That's
Tops
it,
now. But I'm saying is that you can actually buy and get. So like you can pull out Cooper Flag base card and get. I think I looked at $8, $10 they're selling for right now. Just a McDonald's Chrome base card.
I pulled a blue non-numbered. I think I got like 30 something.
Yeah.
For it on
Didn't
Cary,
what's my homie's name? Who I really like, who does more short form content than everything else. King of Cards.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, I love his stuff. Great content. Seems like a really good dude.
He makes solid, and he's a super nice guy in person.
I think he acquired the Cooper Flag 101 Superfractor Auto out of McDonald's.
Yeah, the patch
did he really?
one, yeah.
Wow, that's huge. But here's one thing though too is we're not just talking about the guys though. With the girls, March Madness going on too.
Probably
right
more
now,
popular, honestly.
Sarah Strong was.
Yeah, Sarah Strong. Yes,
yeah,
she had a great game.
I got her Ray Wave refracted out that same box. She was kind of undervalued too on those sort of cards. They were only going for like $1.99, but I think that's criminally undervalued for her right now.
This is why we love Bowman cards. Like doesn't matter if it's baseball, football, basketball. There's a lot of opportunity out there for prospecting if you guys want to learn. And I will tell you this, not just about the card aspect, but for me, like. I find myself watching more sports that I normally wouldn't watch because of cards. And so this has got me involved watching more sports, which I absolutely love. Like me and my dad, my dad's betting on he's in a bunch of tournaments, betting on the NCAA March Madness there. So like he's, we're watching every single game right now while he's visiting, but like we're having fun with it because we're literally going there. Me and him went to Walmart when they had the drop and we literally bought a bunch of draft Prism because we want to open up some of those because we're watching the tournament sitting at the house. So like, it's a lot of fun right now. Like I love this that it brings us together and to do that.
Can I ask you guys how much are Prism draft pick blaster boxes where you live?
$30.
28?
Yeah, $30, and then Mega's like 60.
They're the blaster boxes where I live are like $39 for Prism draft pick.
Wow.
Blasters.
Dang.
Yeah.
See that seems high.
I put it back. I was gonna buy it.
At least I think it was 28. I could be wrong, but
no, we just bought a couple this week, so they were about 30.
It's fun. It's fun stuff, man. I can't wait for the Bowman U basketball. I mean, I was on the trip doing those Ask Me Anything. It's like, what's my favorite product? It's Bowman U.
Yeah.
Because first off, Bowman U, you could find, the retail, and you could really get into it on the retail level without much expense. You could find them in the bargain boxes. I mean, maybe my favorite stop on the whole trip was with you, Rod, at Legacy when we came across the college basketball and college football boxes there. And just stacked full of numbered and autographed stuff. I mean, you got to the football before me. I still got a stack of football after you, though. So, you got a ton of great stuff. And I went through the college basketball before you, and I got some really cool cards. So, I mean, there's a lot of plays there. It's a lot of fun. Knowledge is power. There's a really good interview, Cards and Content. Shout out to Ryan. He did one with Leaf, the guy who's like the guy who does all the NIL deals. And he was talking about, like, part of what they can offer that's different than, like maybe a Panini, and I'm paraphrasing this, I could be a little off, or Topps, is, they're getting all these big names when they're already big names. But the cool thing about Leaf is they could be ahead of the game. They could be going and getting these guys in high school, which is what we're seeing. I've been selling my Jared Curtis cards. I sold a George McIntyre non-autoed Leaf card in my whatnot yesterday in the buy it now. He's going to Tennessee. He's a high schooler right now. So they're getting into the high school game. I sold an Anna Lee Waters. Do you guys know who Anna Lee Waters is?
No.
My whatnot yesterday. She's a pickleball player.
Oh.
Leaf was the first company that had her on a card, and they talked a little bit about Anna Lee. I think about pickleball in that podcast. Go check it out. They were ahead of the curve on pickleball, and it's sold out and it's popular. Now the pickleball cards are in a good. What do they call it? Metal Universe Champions, whatever the upper deck set is.
Oh, really? Huh.
And yeah, there's a demand for it. And there's very few people making cards on it. It's fascinating.
I think that's where Leaf and I think that's where Panini is going to be going, man. We talked about that.
That's
in
what
the
I
previous
love about
episode.
this, though. I want that.
Yeah.
I'm. We don't just need flagship licensed football, baseball, and basketball. I don't care. It could be licensed, awesome. But if it's unlicensed, but it's something that I'm interested in, I'd love to see a professional bull riding set come out. I mean, there's a lot of micro niches that are super popular. When we were going, sorry, I'm on a tangent.
No,
when we were going cross country 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, I couldn't get a hotel in Cheyenne when we were driving through because the nationals for the rodeo were there. So you can't tell me thousands of those people wouldn't be interested in cards from a professional. And they've done sets in the past. I mean, there's a market there. That's just one off the top of my head, and there's a lot more,
Well, what upsets me the most right now is that Fanatics is getting all the licenses, okay? Which is good. One aspect is really good. Another aspect is, like, without having competition, there's no innovation, So that's my biggest
Leaf and all these non-licensed companies are going to be providing the innovation. They're going to be
that's the point.
The lifeblood of the hobby, in my opinion. They're going to be the ones, basically, because necessity is, what do they say, the root of innovation or whatever. They're going to have to innovate, and that's going to be good for everything. And then Topps, I'm sure, will take some of the ideas or implement them. But I think that's one thing that Leaf and Panini, if they do it right, Wild Card, the innovation that they put forth is going to be huge for the next 10 years of the hobby, in my opinion.
I mean, that's the way they're going to have to go forward to survive. But also, too, the point you're making is once they do come up with some kind of new concept or something that's really hot, that's going to create competition for Fanatics. Fanatics may try to go after that licensing, that brand. And once again, man, it's good for all of us at this point. So I like competition because it creates innovation, but we'll see. What about you, Tim? What do you think on this? You like pickleball cards? You want to get some bull riding cards?
Yes, I'm game. I've sold pickleball cards, autos already from Leaf.
Really? How'd they do?
Happy holiday set. I got a pickleball autograph and sold it. Yeah, listen, I mean, you know me. Like, people, it's always funny. People always ask me what I'm looking for when I go to the table at the card shows. And my answer is always the same. It's like, I'm all over the map, man. Whatever you got, if I'll look at it. Like, I'm the one who's buying women's soccer, and nobody else is talking about women's soccer at these card shows. Women's hockey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just sold my first women's hockey card.
Did you really?
I sold the Young Guns for $25, I think.
Would you sell it on eBay?
On eBay, yeah.
On eBay, yeah.
So
that's probably gonna be the market for it.
So yeah, I'm all about it, man. I've been learning more about the Marvel stuff too, and in the Star Wars, even though I've never seen Star Wars. Oh, I should tell you the story really fast. Okay, really fast because we got to do a giveaway.
Yeah, we're
going to talk about the Shohei Ohtani card too. Okay, I found a Star Wars card in a bargain box, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that. Huge show that I killed it. This show, this guy had the best deals I've ever seen in my life. So I pulled the card out. And I was just buying anything that was Star Wars and was numbered. It was $1. And I was picking them all, right? I get home and I'm like, I always like to go through the cards I don't know, like what the comp is, because
that's how you learn.
I want to know what to do with it.
100%. Yeah.
So I go look at the card. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to look this card up? This ain't even in English. It looked like it was in hieroglyphics. It was a Topps Chrome Star Wars card. I flipped the card over on the back, and the guy's name is on the back. So when I go and I look it up, I realize that it's a variation. And it's the language variation. I guess it's some sort of Star Wars language that they speak, Andarsh or Angwarsh or something like that. And it turned out to be like a $25, $30 card. And I had no idea.
I love it. That's my favorite thing in the bargain boxes is like unlocking new knowledge, because like we've been doing this forever. I talked about this on my video yesterday. Every trip I do, it feels like I learn about some, especially case hits, because like there's the ones that are famous, the Kabooms and the Downtowns, but there's a lot of other ones. So I was in Overtime Sports Cards in Utah. I found this Paul Pierce Phoenix card, the Phoenix design, and it had like a whole bunch of Egyptian Egyptian writing on the back, and I just looked up Paul Pierce Egyptian Phoenix because I didn't know what the heck it was, and then the hieroglyphic case hit came up. So I found it was $5. It was pretty good. $5, I did a little bit more on my whatnot. I didn't really make money on that card per se, but it was just cool to find a case hit. Mm-hmm. Later down the road, I'm in Kansas City, same trip. So this is like earlier this week or last week. I'm in I don't know where I was. I was at Cards HQ, in Atlanta, in the 50 cent box, and I found a Jamal Murray hieroglyphics case hit. I'd never noticed them in my life before that first one. And it looked like, and the only reason I looked it up, and this is when you're bargain boxing, this is rule number one. If you see something that is different, and especially in a set that you've seen a lot of, look it up. Even if you have to go Egyptian Paul Pierce Phoenix card. Like, I didn't know what it was called even. Yeah. Look it up, and then a lot of times those cards are SPs, SSPs, case hits. And I found 2 of them on this trip, and it's just like when you get a new car, right? And you start seeing your car everywhere. I'm hoping I keep seeing these everywhere. That's the goal.
Awesome. I love it, man. That's why we do what we do, man. But speaking of that, we need to draw some winners here because we made these people wait long enough, Tim.
Yeah.
And we had Ivan on.
Tim, so it's my fault that we waited this long.
Blame is all
on
Tim.
Been pretty good.
I'm going to blame somebody, so I'm not going to blame myself. So I'm going to blame you, all right? So,
that's okay. I'm used to.
I'm just glad I'm not blamed. So
there's always next week. But we had Ivan on the show. It was his birthday, so let me present my screen here. Let's draw a winner.
So we are drawing 2 winners. One is going to be a $50 credit for Dibdit cards, which you can use on the Dibdit Sports Card Raid Train, which will be coming up on April
2nd, Wednesday, April 2nd, and we're going to be there all day long. Yep. Starting at probably early afternoon around 2 o'clock, and it's going to go to 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. So you guys do not want to miss it. We are going to be doing massive raid train with all of. You're going to see me. You're going to see Tim. You're going to see Cary. We'll be on there multiple times, and we're going to feature
a lot of other sellers on there.
Yeah, a lot of other sellers on there. We'll have everything from Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, to sports cards, to entertainment cards, to baseball, football, Marvel, Star Wars, a little bit of everything. So it's going to be fun.
Maybe we should do a live kickoff here on the channel before the raid train.
It's not a bad idea. It's
we
actually
could
a really good idea.
So. All right, so let's draw this winner here.
This is going to be for my giveaway. This is going to be for a Drake May rated rookie card for the giveaway.
We're doing keyword no bangers.
No. Happy birthday, Ivan.
Oh, happy birthday, Ivan. Happy. I'm just going to put in happy so it pulls up. All right, let's draw this. All right, we had 37 comments that said happy birthday. So let's go through. And there we go.
JS Cards Collection.
JS Cards Collection.
JS Cards Collection. Reach out to me via DM on Dibdit Cards or Twitter or Instagram, and get that card sent out to you right away.
Awesome. All right. Let's pick another winner here. This is going to be for the $50 $50 gift card to Dibit, which can be used on any of the Dibit platforms, but you should use them Dibit cards because
Dibit cards.
Dibdit cards.
All right, Dibit
Sorry,
cards.
I love you, Kevin. Love you, Dave, but just Dibdit cards for this one.
All right. So let's pick a winner, and this one's going to be. What does that say? Trex loves leftovers 3574.
Oh, I love that it was a T-Rex, a dinosaur. I love it. Yep. Perfect.
Oh yeah, T-Rex. I say Trex. It's been a long show. All right, so
that's a deep dive.
Anybody
knows.
You can send me, Tim, or Cary a message. Just send us a message so we can. You gotta send us a message. This one you have to send us a message on Dibit cards. Okay, find us, send us a message on there so we can get the $50 credit sent over to you, and then that way you can use it to buy some cards and hang out with us. So thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you all
so much. Stop sharing screen here. I think we're gonna wrap this up, Tim. I think we're gonna save the Shohei story to next week if you're okay with that. Yeah, I think this would be because I think we need to put a little time into that and do a little bit more deep diving on that one here. And we've already been going for an hour and 42 minutes. Time flies, man. It's nice.
Always.
It's nice to be back with you two.
I know, man.
Hearing not so much, but you, Tim, I'm glad that it was
fair.
It's been nice.
We did hang out a little bit.
We did a lot. So. But Tim, this is your favorite moment, so take the floor.
All right, here we go. Everybody put their hands in.
Don't we have like another? Wasn't there another giveaway thing we had to do?
We just did 2 of them.
You have to tell people
we have
how
to announce
to enter the giveaway for 1,000 subscribers.
That's all. Sorry, I just want to make sure we didn't.
We're going to give away some blaster boxes next week. We hit 1,000 subs on here. I totally forgot about that. Thank you so much, Cary, for You know it's a bad day when Cary is the one who's reminding us to do something, all right?
It is bad.
Oh, man.
It's not good.
You can tell Tim is tired. His baby mind, and I'm just...
You got dad brain.
I forgot. So, let's do... What do you want to do? Hashtag no bangers? What should we do for next week? Or should we do hashtag 1,000, or what do you want? I'll let Tim. You decide. What do you think we should do?
I think you should type in 1K giveaway.
1K giveaway. There you go.
There we go.
Hashtag 1K giveaway.
Hashtag 1K giveaway.
The number one, don't spell out one. Number 1K giveaway. There we go. That's going to be the.
This is
the
a
giveaway.
true testament to see how many of you guys actually lasted 1
love
hour.
it. I love it.
Real ones right here.
Yeah, this is for the 5% of you guys that are staying to the very end. Right now, you're going to get rewarded for this because you're not going to have a lot of competition probably. But yeah, put it in the comments down below. Hashtag 1K giveaway. And we'll give away Blaster Box next week. And we'll probably give away a couple things, man, to take care of you guys. But all right, we're going to wrap this up. It's time to go here. So
Everybody put their hands in. No bangers on 3. 1, 2, 3. No bangers!
No bangers!
You guys better have done that at home.